You ever wake up one morning, look out your window, and realize you're living in a sitcom written by Satan himself? Because that's how it started for me. A $120,000 BMW, perfectly white and polished, sitting in my driveway like some kind of suburban trophy I never asked for. And the worst part? That car wasn't mine. It belonged to Vivian Rothschild, queen of the cul-de-sac, self-declared enforcer of all things proper, and the woman who decided my driveway was her personal parking space. You think that's bad? Oh, just wait. That little piece of entitlement ended with me legally seizing her precious BMW, selling it for pennies at auction, and watching Vivian lose her car, her house, and even her husband, all in a single week. Yeah, that happened. 47 days. 47 mornings of waking up to the sound of that overpriced engine and Vivian's smug face in her window, sipping a $9 latte like she was royalty and I was her lowly servant. Meanwhile, my 78-year-old mother, Elena, couldn't even get to her cardiologist because Vivian's throne blocked the only path in and out. It was like living in a dystopian sitcom where the villain wore yoga pants and weaponized perfume. And the punchline? Vivian never bothered to check the property records. That driveway, every inch of it, actually belonged to me. That's right. She wasn't just being a Karen. She was trespassing, blocking my dying mom's doctor for nearly 7 weeks, acting like it was her God-given right. So I decided if she wanted to fight over territory, I'd take everything she loved instead. And trust me, she never saw it coming. But before I get to the paperwork, the tow truck, and the auction receipt that finally broke her, let me just throw this out there. Was I too harsh or not harsh enough? Go ahead, drop your answer below. I'll wait. But you've got to understand something about Vivian Rothschild. She didn't just wake up and choose chaos one day. Oh no, she'd been practicing for years. My name's Marcus Wellington, 45, single dad, 20-year electrician, and I wasn't even supposed to be in Willowbrook Estates. My aunt passed last spring, left me her ranch house. Nothing fancy, but a palace compared to the shoebox apartment where my daughter Zoe slept on a pull-out couch after her mom split when she was 12. The only catch, Grandma Elena had to move in with us. Her doctor said she had maybe 2 years if she stuck to her meds. Miss an appointment, miss a dose, and we'd be planning funerals instead of Christmas. So, yeah, getting her to every checkup was non-negotiable. First week, things actually felt good. Fresh paint, new possibilities, Zoe finally getting her own room, Mom settled and stable. Willowbrook is one of those neighborhoods where people mow their lawns religiously, exchange polite nods, and pretend drama is beneath them. The HOA keeps folks in line. No pink houses, no RVs, the usual. But then there's Vivian, the HOA president, and trust me, she's exactly what you're picturing. 52 bleach blonde highlights that cost more than my monthly groceries, a wardrobe that screams old money, even though it's really just married money. She lives in the biggest house on the block, runs the HOA like a dictatorship, and treats the bylaws like they're carved on stone tablets. Vivian's BMW even has a custom plate, Roth SLD1. Her husband Bradford, some investment banker, works 100 hours a week and probably hasn't spoken to her since Bush was president, the first Bush. Vivian, meanwhile, spends her days measuring grass with a ruler and filing violations for things like leaving up Christmas lights past January 2nd. She calls herself the guardian of property values. Translation, professional bully, now with legal authority. Here's what everyone missed, including Vivian. Our house sits at the end of the cul-de-sac with a shared driveway. When my aunt bought the place, the developer created an easement agreement. Both houses could use the drive to access their garages. Day 3, I'm moving boxes when that BMW pulls up behind me. Vivian steps out, drowning in jasmine perfume, heels clicking so loud it set off the neighbor's dog. "Excuse me," she says, not asks, but says, "You'll need to relocate your vehicle. I'm having my driveway sealed and require temporary parking." I glance over. Her driveway's so clean you could do surgery on it. "How long we talking?" I ask. "A few days while the sealant cures." She waves like she's shooing a fly. "Surely you understand. Property values depend on attention to detail." That tone, like she's explaining shapes to a toddler. I nod. Day 3 isn't the time for war. Just let me know when you're done, I tell her. She smiles, the kind of smile a cat gives a mouse. Welcome to the neighborhood, Michael. My name's Marcus. I'd introduced myself twice already. A few days turns into a week, then 2. Her car never moves. I start parking 3 blocks away. My mom's missing doctor's appointments because medical transport can't get in. Zoe won't invite her friends over because, well, who wants to be the family with no driveway? The shame in her eyes stings worse than any HOA notice. Vivian, meanwhile, does this little theater every morning, clipboard in hand, inspecting her already perfect driveway, scribbling notes like she's plotting rocket launches, not checking asphalt. The click of her heels becomes my alarm clock. Week 2, I get the nuclear option, a hand-calligraphed HOA violation letter, 3 pages of legal nonsense citing bylaw 12.3, claiming her parking is a legitimate enforcement action. That night, surrounded by my aunt's paperwork, I do what electricians do best. I read the fine print. And there it is, buried on page 47, bylaw 14.7, temporary parking restrictions limited to 72 hours. Vivian's been camped out for 14 days. But wait, there's more. I find out she's been HOA president for 8 years. Bylaws say no more than 4 without a re-election. She's been running this place illegally, making every one of her enforcement actions, including her attack on my family, completely void. I file a counter-complaint, citing both her parking abuse and illegal presidency. 48 hours later, she calls an emergency board meeting. I show up to the community center. The place smells like bleach and regret. Vivian's at the head table in a blazer that probably cost more than my truck, PowerPoint slides about my disruptive integration flashing on the wall. She'd been photographing my house, documenting us like some case study in problem residents. Her whole argument is that we're threatening property values, but her own slide shows my house value up $43,000 since I moved in. The board looks at her, then at me, and votes to table pending investigation. Translation: they're terrified of her, but they know she's lost the plot. That night, Mom asks again why her appointments keep getting canceled. I try to reassure her, but she knows. Marcus, I raise you to solve problems, not accept them. And that's when it clicks. This isn't about parking, it's about survival. Week 3, Vivian goes full crazy. She brings in her husband's Mercedes, cones off the driveway like it's a construction site, and hits me with another HOA violation, this time for unauthorized window treatments. The woman is inventing rules faster than I can break them. So I call my buddy Jake, fireman, moonlights as a surveyor. He brings his laser gear, checks the easement, and finds the whole driveway is actually on my property. Vivian's house only has permission to cross it, not park on it. She's been trespassing for 3 weeks. Then Jake notices something in public filings. Vivian and Bradford are financially underwater. Mortgage payment up 40%, contractor liens, unpaid taxes, and her real estate license under review for failing to disclose boundary disputes. I stay up all night digging, and it's even worse than I thought. She's been claiming tax deductions for maintaining my driveway, filing false claims for 8 years. She's in deep. Wednesday, Vivian installs fake no parking signs along the street, tries to play city worker. My neighbor Betty shows up with cinnamon cookies and tells me Vivian's driven out 6 families using these harassment campaigns. Always the same pattern. Find a violation, make life miserable, force them out, then clarify the property lines in her favor. That's when it all snaps into focus. This is her playbook, and she finally picked the wrong guy. By week 4, she's put up a construction fence across my driveway, spray-painted fake utility lines, left laminated signs warning of emergency inspections. I call city utilities. No scheduled work. She's staging a whole Broadway show in orange cones and Home Depot supplies, trying to create evidence for her tax fraud. And the more evidence I gather, videos, photos, survey maps, the more obvious it gets. She's not just a bully, she's a criminal. Plot twist, Bradford shows up desperate. Says Vivian is spiraling. Impersonated city engineers, called the mayor, convinced there's a conspiracy against her. She's about to file police reports against me for interfering with infrastructure projects that don't exist. I realize her breakdown is my legal advantage. I draft complaints to the city, state, and federal agencies. Everything from municipal impersonation to mail fraud. Monday morning, Vivian's world collides with real authority. Tow trucks, code enforcement, a cop on hand just in case. She comes out in her robe, tries to bribe me $5,000 to resolve this misunderstanding. The officer just stares at her, notebook open. Bribery caught on camera. The tow guys remove her cars with the precision of a pit crew. Bradford doesn't even argue, just stands there defeated. Vivian shrieks about legal parking rights. Officer Rodriguez explains property law trumps HOA power. By 8 a.m., my driveway's clear for the first time in 47 days. Elena appears on the porch, walker in hand, smiling. Marcus, does this mean I can see my doctor today? Yes, Mom. Finally. Vivian tries to escalate, files for a restraining order, complains to city inspectors. Joke's on her. The inspector is an old buddy. My work is up to code. Her house is riddled with unpermitted additions. Her legal attacks start to ricochet right back at her. Bradford comes over with a bottle of scotch and a nervous breakdown. He knows it's over. Vivian's own attorney advises her to shut up, but she won't. She actually brings a binder full of her infrastructure project to the next HOA meeting, complete with color-coded tabs and forged documentation. She's just handed out evidence of her own fraud in public to a room full of neighbors and a police officer. The board suspends her authority. Tom from the city points out her term expired 4 years ago. The place erupts. Betty reads off her violations. Officer Rodriguez calmly collects the binder, evidence for the state. And Bradford, for the first time in 8 years, finally speaks up. Vivian, stop. You tried to steal our neighbor's property. There's a difference between protecting your investment and being a criminal. Her face crumbles. The whole neighborhood watches the fall of the queen. After that, beautiful chaos. Her BMW, never reclaimed, sold at auction for $47,200. I keep the receipt framed in my garage. State revenue comes for $73,000 in back taxes and penalties. She gets probation, 200 hours community service, teaching financial literacy, the ultimate irony. Her real estate license revoked for misrepresenting boundaries. Bradford moves out, finds sanity and a golden retriever in Seattle. And Betty, bless her, gets elected HOA president, passes term limits, transparency rules, and mediation requirements. Vivian's auction money funds community programs, medical transport for the elderly, scholarships, legal aid for families fighting HOA harassment. Her criminal empire becomes the backbone for actual community support. Last month, the community center was packed for our Good Neighbor Festival. My mom bakes cookies for the new families now. Zoe, valedictorian, off to college on a scholarship paid for by Vivian's fraud fund. The new neighbors? Sweet family, 3 kids, a golden retriever that's already best friends with every dog on the street. They brought brownies and asked about the rules. Everything else works itself out. So yeah, justice isn't just watching a bully lose everything. It's seeing a community rebuilt from the rubble. Go ahead, share your wildest HOA horror story below. Some of you, I bet, can top even this. And if you want to know how we stop the city from bulldozing our street for a shopping mall, hit subscribe. Because the best way to fix a broken system is to prove it doesn't have to stay broken, whether that's wiring in your house or the law in your neighborhood. Sometimes, justice tastes a lot like brownies shared on a sunny front porch. You know what I mean?